Hey, Alyssa, thanks for joining me. Everyone that's watching, I've got Alyssa Dunfee with me from Keyway Property Management. Where are you joining us from today, Alyssa?
All the way down here in Augusta, Georgia. So from the south.
Thanks for joining us. I know you've been doing some hurricane cleanup. Tell us a little bit about your market, your ideal client, size of the company, and how long you've been in property management sales.
Yeah, so I have been in property management for the last 2 years. I started with a company called Bridges Realty that recently just went through a really big merge to create Keyway Property Management, which is now the largest single family property management firm in Augusta, which is really awesome. Augusta is a big military town, so I would say at least 75% of what we do is the accidental landlord, but we also have a ton of investors and more recently, a lot of out of state investors that have been coming into our local CSRA area, which is really cool.
And what's the door count currently, or just roughly for you guys?
A little over 1,300, give or
Okay.
take.
Great. And ideal client for you guys? I mean, it's military. Is it mostly accidental? Are you guys working in investors at all?
Yeah, so it's mostly accidental. I would say about 75% accidental, and then the other 25% is investors, maybe 50-50 split between out of state and local investors.
Great. Yeah, as you get larger, obviously you have to service more types of clients. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
So you've been in the role for how long?
for about 2 years.
And what did you do before this?
Before this, I was doing something completely outside of real estate. I had just opened up or I helped open up a medical billing branch for a debt collection agency. So I was running the medical billing office, getting all of that set up. And then my boss came to me one day, saw this opportunity at Bridges Realty and pushed me into it. She said, "This is for you. You have to go do it." And it's worked out so well.
So the boss you were working for pushed you into this role? Because that was my next question is
Yeah.
how did you find the role?
Yeah, and I thought, when she said that I needed to apply for a different job, I got very self-conscious thinking that,
That-
am I not doing the right thing here? But she said that it was going to be the perfect opportunity for me, and it really has been. It's been amazing.
Amazing. So she must have known the owners, right? How else would she know about the job?
So her husband was a vendor that worked for the company, so she knew of the company, kind of worked in it, but mostly
Yeah.
her husband did. And when she heard there was an open spot, she wanted me to snag it.
Okay, fantastic. Well, we're glad to have you here. It's been fun to work with you over the last 2 years. So how have things changed as you've gone through a merger? Is your job pretty much still the same, or is there anything that's changed dramatically?
My job has exploded since the merger. So we merged with the largest brokerage in Augusta, it's Maybom. And with that comes a lot of agents. So all agent relations come through me, and just the leverage of the size of the company, we've had just a lot more business. And being able to turn that business into actual doors and getting all of that taken care of in a really positive direction has been keeping my hands full.
So would you say, like, what percentage of your new business is coming from agents versus other sources?
I would say, hmm, I'm looking over at my wall because I write all of my new doors for the month on the wall. I would say 10% at least comes from just internal agent referrals.
Great. And what about if you include external agent referrals?
Maybe another 5%. We've got some external that have started referring over to us. Of course, I don't want to say from what brokerages or anything like that, because there's
Stay
definitely
safe
some
with us.
competition there.
Yeah.
But we definitely have some of that as well, as Keyway is just growing into the best property management company Augusta could offer.
Fantastic. Okay, so even though it's 15%, which is amazing, it's still a minority. So what are some of the other lead sources that you're enjoying?
Accidental landlords are honestly my favorite. I love nothing more than fostering those relationships. I like investors just the same too, but there's just something special about taking an accidental landlord and turning them into an investor. That is where I take the most pride.
That's great. So you were kind of telling me before you go out and meet with agents. Uh,
Mhm.
how do you, but do you have any tips on being memorable for agents so that they, because I'm guessing they're visited by multiple property managers, right? I mean, we've got our whole community. Every property manager is basically saying, go visit agents, go visit agents. But I've been told that you have a number of ways of standing out. So I don't want you to give away too many ideas yet on investors, but when you go meet real estate agents, how do you make sure they remember you?
It's just by having fun. I think most agents get the normal business. They get vendors asking for business and they just get asked for so much. So just to be that person that comes with a fun personality and says, I've got a realtor referral that's $555 and I've got little earrings that say 555, and just making um, not a joke out of it, but just making it fun and exciting and not always a business transaction. Not everything has to be cut and dry. It can be fun and we can talk and chit chat and learn about what your kid's soccer game and everything like that has to do with it too. Just building relationships and having fun with it, I think, is the most important thing.
So, all right, tell me about that. Did you have custom made earrings that say 555?
Custom made earrings. They are, I should have put them on today. They're in my car right now. They're mirrored and it's like 555. I also have some that say Keyway. They're just awesome. I love them.
So what's the significance of the 555 for anybody listening to make sure they know?
That would make sense to explain. So that is our realtor referral incentive. So if a realtor refers a property over to us for property management, we send them $555 as a thank you, and then we'll also sign a non-compete with them so that that client goes right back to them whenever they're ready to sell or buy or expand their portfolio.
It's great because 555 is more memorable than 500, right? Is that the
Mhm.
goal?
Yeah, that's absolutely the goal.
Okay. And I also know, looking at you on video, there's a way that you introduce yourself when you meet real estate agents. What do you say?
I do. Anytime I talk to just about anybody, my introduction is hey, howdy, hey. It sprang out one time when I was walking up to go talk to a room full of agents, probably 75 different agents were in there. As I was walking up, nerves jittering a little, I said, hey, howdy, hey. And it's become my entire personality trait. You're muted.
All right, I had to cough. Whenever you say something when you're nervous, it's usually because it's inside you. So is hey, howdy, hey something you used to say, or did it just literally come out of nowhere?
It came out of nowhere, and now it is here to stay.
As you can see, it's on the wall behind you, which I love.
It is on the wall behind me.
How often are you out at an event and they come up to you and say, hey, howdy, hey?
I don't get many hey howdy heys, but I get more howdies.
Okay.
Now that I say hey howdy hey, they're more likely to respond with howdy there.
But like it hasn't become a thing yet where like when they run into you, they're like, hey, howdy, hey.
One of these days,
One of
I'll
these.
be that important.
All right. Well, expect me in Austin when I see you. That's how I'm gonna create.
You better.
You know it. Then I'll forget, I'll freeze up. I'll be like, hello. Uh that's a good one though. So I love it. So you're really standing out. We got the 555 earrings, which is amazing. Hey, howdy, hey, and you're having fun with them. That's kind of the lessons. Anything else you'd share with like how do you follow up with agents? Like, are you like you're just meeting them at an event, or are you one of those people that like will just constantly text them and call them and they're like, oh, Alyssa's always thinking of me.
Not constantly, but I do try to think of markers for different people. And that's not just agent related, that's for anybody I talk to.
Okay.
If I know your kiddo likes to play soccer and I know that they have soccer games on Saturdays, I might text you, hope John has a great soccer game. Just ways, like I said, it's building relationships. So it's not always just, hey, send me a referral. Hey, send me a referral. Hey, send me a referral. It's how can I help you just as much as you're going to help me and make it work together.
Okay. I love that. Have you, I heard that you're just getting a more public persona. Are you doing teaching, education? How else are you getting out in the community?
So that's a big part of what Keyway likes to do. We constantly love to learn and grow and develop. So I have taken it upon myself to go teach new agents, not just about the referral, but just about property management in general. So some of our brokerages here will do, outside of your real estate class and your real estate exam, like another subsidiary class to teach you actually how to be an agent. And I love to go speak at those because you get in front of them and you can really teach them from start to finish the proper way things should be done, especially in property management, which can go sideways really quickly.
Yeah, 100%. So how are you getting those opportunities? Because I think somebody reading this or watching this is like, I want to do that. How are you booking those?
You call and ask, say, hey, I would love to come in and teach your class for an hour. I'll give you a break. You can sit in the back of the class. I'll bring some little bundt cakes or donuts or sandwiches, and I want to talk to your class about property management. Are you willing to let me do that? And 9 times out of 10, they'll say, yeah, actually, that would be great.
Yeah, especially when you start with hey, howdy, hey. I mean,
Hey,
they're
howdy, hey.
gonna lean in and be
Exactly.
like, who's this woman calling me? I love that. So, dissecting that, you're like, here's what's in it for you. You're like, here's what's in it for you, not would you let me do this? Like that's what I'm taking away from this is
Yeah,
thank you. You're solving a problem I have. I have a problem. I have people, they need to be educated. I need content, and you're just showing up and filling that need.
exactly.
That's great. All right. I've also heard that you do some great follow-up with your prospects. So what are the things you're doing to stand out with people to reach out, the accidental landlords, shifting from realtors to your prospects? What are you doing? How are you making sure that people hire you and not some other Joe Schmo in town?
It's going to depend person to person. I think our brokerage alone sets itself up for success and the different guarantees that we offer and just the alignment with our owners, which is something I am eternally grateful for. It's something that I really wanted when we were setting up Keyway as a company. So that has been wonderful. Outside of that is education. Like I said, Keyway is all about learning and doing more. So the more that I can educate, whether it be an investor or just an accidental landlord, on what property management really means, I want to get them outside of numbers, pay the mortgage, numbers, pay the mortgage stress, to what being an investor really feels like and what it's like to have income that you're not really having to deal with. Somebody else is dealing with it for you. That is where I really take a lot of joy and pride. So some of that might be educating them with a podcast or a book or any one of the other ways that one would educate themselves. It's important to me.
Well, let's go into detail. What do you say a book? Are you mailing them a book? Are you emailing them a podcast? Like walk us through, don't give all your secrets away, but give some of your secrets away, Alyssa.
And one of the ones that I love to send out the most is the one that when I first started here, my broker made me read it. It's called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And that book is a 3-hour read, super easy to understand, but it just will open up your mind so much into investments and real estate and living your life differently. So that one I love sending out to the accidental landlord, whether I mail it to them with a little note written in, or if they have already PCS'd out of the area and I need to mail them a copy across oceans or across states, I send it to them to start that idea and that transition from accidental landlord to intentional investor and really what property management can do in their life. That one's the best. You're muted again.
Sorry, dogs went crazy. I love that. We're talking more about that because every intentional investor was not an intentional investor day one. Sometimes they're an accidental landlord. Sometimes they started on a different path. But I love it. I've heard that you're treating people like they could be an intentional investor, and sending them Rich Dad Poor Dad is a great way to do it. And they obviously use a technical term that I know, like PCS. That if you're not in a military town, that basically means they've been repositioned. They're somewhere else. And so
Exactly.
you'll still send the book if they're overseas, like they're
Yeah.
in Europe or Japan or anywhere. Yeah.
Wherever I need to.
I love
Amazon and the postal service is pretty remarkable what they can do these days.
it's easier than ever to get physical
Mhm.
goods places. I love that. Um, that's great. So love how you're following up. All right, so you've been doing this 2 years, you're doing really well. My team tells me that you are definitely a leader in Scale Club. So you've probably seen some new BDMs come in and they're a little lost. Maybe they are where you were 2 years ago. Um, any advice for somebody kind of new starting out in this business? Because it's a unique business.
It is. And I think a lot of it comes with confidence. And the more you integrate yourself into the business as much as you can, the more confident that you're going to get with what you're saying and how you're saying it and what needs to be said when. It's not just an objection that's coming out, right? There's a deeper issue there. Let's get to it and let's fix it so that we can continue to grow that is the biggest thing is confidence.
Amen. I mean, that's all sales jobs. Totally,
I guess.
really is. Especially as a trusted advisor sales job. I mean, we're not just here to be like, which iPhone do you want? Or which do you want, the black or the red car? Like, we're here to solve problems. And that comes with confidence. I like to always say, can't sell what you don't have, and we sell certainty here. Like, you have to be certain, otherwise you cannot transfer that to anybody else. I can see that
I
you're
like
Uti.
that.
Yeah,
I like that a
served
lot.
me, that served me well. Like, that's something unique to professional services. Like, people want to buy certainty, and we have it as trusted advisors. So I love that. All right, this has been amazing. You've shared some great secrets with us. Anything else? Anything we didn't cover that you just? All right, let me ask it differently. You can share anything you want, but what were your biggest surprises coming into the role? What was different than you thought, or did it all just work out exactly as they promised you when you took the job?
It did not work out exactly as they promised me. I guarantee you that. Some things that happened that I wasn't expecting was going to be turning, that's going to be the answer. When I came into the role, I expected another job. And that is not necessarily what being in property management business development is. It is a lifestyle and it's something that you have to live and breathe and love. And if you can't live, breathe, and love it, then maybe a different sales role is for you or a different position. But as long as you can adapt that and pull it in and know that this is your life now and you want to create everything around it is amazing. And I didn't realize that at the beginning. I just thought it was going to be, you know, regular 9 to 5, no big deal, but it's so much more than that in the best ways possible.
Okay, well, let's expand on that because a lot of people don't like that idea of like, this is more than just a 9 to 5 job. So what do you mean by that? Like what has transpired? Like, why is it more of a lifestyle than a 9 to 5 job? And what are the pros and cons of that?
So it's the people that you surround yourself with, right? In a 9 to 5 job, you've got your coworkers in the office. That's about it. Maybe you have some external relations that you work with. But in real estate, not even outside of this role, in real estate in general, it's relationship building and it's connection and it's how many people do you know? And it's not just inside the office, it's outside the office too. It's hanging out with people, it's going to open houses, it's anything and everything related to real estate and just really diving into that. And it also means not necessarily having to work 9 to 5 every day, but it might also mean after work going out to a realtor open house and having cocktails at the end of the night. It can be really fun.
Got it. That's our business too. Go to these conferences. So many of our clients are good friends. We go to
Yeah.
trips on them, and like it's just it is rewarding. It's counterintuitive, but it is rewarding. So I appreciate you bringing that up. It's not for everybody. It's not the only way to do the business, but I would say that some of our BDMs and clients are having the most fun are integrating. They're blurring that line. They're combining them. So
It's a fun way.
yeah, good. Well, we really appreciate you being in our community. You're doing such a great job. Like I said, you are a leader in the community and people are enjoying that. Can't wait to see you in Austin. Looking forward, Any goals going forward? Any next steps for you? What's 2025 look like? What's success look like for you?
Success looks like solidifying things. So this merge happened back in February. So we are almost at the 1 year mark. We have held on to all of our staff, which is awesome. We have held on to a majority of our owners, which is great. And now it's just getting everybody all in on one agreement to make sure that we all want to do things the Keyway way. We've been instilling those ideas for a while, and now just making that a reality and making sure that we are all just streamlined and going forward in 2025.
Alyssa Dunfee of Keyway Property Management in Augusta. I just am so happy to learn from you, and thank you so much for coming today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.